We have the badass from Buffalo, the serial killer of SEO. He will take your roofing company to the motherfucking moon. Mr. Michael Stearns, welcome to the I Drink From Skulls podcast.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. No, thank you. Thank you.
We need the applause. We need the audience. Michael.
Yeah, you know, in typical Mike Stearns fashion, I fucked up the audio cue. So the third time was the charm. Matt, thanks for having me on, brother. I appreciate it.
Let's go. I drink from skulls. Drink from the skulls of my enemies.
Appreciate you too, my man. I have heard a rumor it is 5:30 a.m. in your part of the world.
Yeah, Eastern Standard Time. That is true. The rumors are true. You know, it's one of the benefits of living in a state of perpetual anxiety. You don't sleep much. So you get up and you do podcasts with awesome people like Matt Smith at 5:30 a.m. So here we are.
There you go.
To you, Matt Smith.
Thank you. Thank you. We have a skull. We have the skull. Do I sense a tinge of ginger there, Mr. Stearns?
Yeah, it's interesting, right? So I'm blonde, I'm ginger, I'm like dark brown. So it's like, it kind of starts like right here, my sideburns, and then it goes from like blonde to ginger. And I don't know exactly where the delineation point is, but it happens somewhere because down here it's ginger.
I like it.
Yeah, leave that to the audience to figure it out. Drop it in the comments.
Well, for the benefit of everyone watching along, I want to know who the hell is Michael Stearns?
How long is this podcast?
We got some time.
We got some time. I'm somebody who is obsessed with getting better every single day. I'm super competitive with myself. I don't pay as much attention to other people as I do myself, and consistently trying to move that needle. I never expect to be at a full tank of perfect, but I want to move the needle as far away from that empty or imperfect as possible. It's kind of how I look at things on a day-to-day basis. Fuck, I love football. Buffalo Bills. Go Bills. Obviously, I have a beautiful wife. I have a beautiful daughter who's going to be 16. I have a baby boy coming in November.
Congratulations.
Nope. There it is. Hopefully my wife doesn't watch that and hear the wah, wah, wah. Yeah, and I got into, my first exposure to marketing for contractors was handing out flyers when I was like 15.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, and, I got paid okay for it, and, truth be told, I didn't hand out the entire box of flyers. I'm a changed man now, okay? But I went through college, and I worked in debt collections, which taught me a lot of things. Taught me a lot of things as far as empathy and compassion and working through complex issues that people have. And, when I got out of school, I was like, well, I need a job, and I don't like doing the job that I'm doing now. And, I went into sales for a digital marketing company, and I just immediately fell in love with really every aspect of it. And here we are, almost 10 years later.
There you go. Life sentence for roofing, man. I love it. Yeah. You got a life sentence in roofing.
Yeah, it seems that way. That's all right. I love my roofers.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Maybe they add to a little bit of that anxiety, but it's a stress that we love.
Yeah. I wouldn't be able to disprove that statement. So
how long has Ascend Digital Agency been going? Like, talk me through that.
About 2.5 years now. What else do you want to know? 2.5 years, started from the bottom. Now we're here. Shout out to Drake.
Yeah.
Yeah. I started the company just because, I think it's probably right along the same lines of why most people start their company. They're doing something for somebody else, and they feel like they've got ideas, and they feel like maybe they can do it better. Right. And, they bring those ideas to folks, and, maybe those folks don't agree. And it's like, okay, well, at some point it's like, yeah, I want to shoot my shot. I want to give it a try. And, we've been very fortunate. We have, early on, we got some really great clients, and couldn't do it without y'all. Y'all the MVPs.
Yeah. I love that. That's really cool, man. Because you and I, we've known each other online for years and years, it seems like. So maybe some of that was in the time that you were doing sales and stuff like that. And you've always had a great reputation. I feel like we've always given a bit of stick to the fake marketers, trying to keep it real for the industry. So I've always loved that.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate the way you brand yourself as well. It's fucking amazing. When I click through your 739 stories a day, it gives me a chuckle, and it's really, really good. You do a great job, and we have known each other online for some time, and it was definitely started when I was in like a sales position, And, I think that it's important, for anyone that's watching, when you're running a business, and this isn't me on a pedestal, just sharing my experience. What you do and the services you offer and products that you provide to people is really important, that they have efficacy and they work and they do what they're supposed to do. But, people also really want an amazing experience. Like,
Yeah,
that's people covet that, right? If I go to a restaurant and they've got good food, but their service is ass, I'm not going back. So that's really something that we try to embody and really push for every single time, is matching our products and services that we offer with an unmatched experience. And we've gotten a lot of positive feedback from our clients because of that.
absolutely. If someone didn't know that you'd said you'd only been going for 2.5 years, which when it's a new business, 2.5 years is it's quite a long time. We've been doing it not even 4 years. So, but the whole point of that is like, if people didn't know that and they saw the brand recognition that you got, the amount of the raving clients that you've been able to generate and build and get the great results you had, it'd really make someone stop and think and wonder, like, what really goes on there, what drives you, and like you just mentioned, it's all about delivering a really high end quality service and an ongoing service. So I'd love to talk a little bit more about that.
I think kind of like a prerequisite to that is, relationships fail or flourish in expectations, right? And like expectations, if they're poorly set, there's going to likely be a poor outcome. So setting the right expectations with people. And I mean, this doesn't just apply to business; this applies to personal life, everything in between. Setting the right expectations and being accountable, and also being able to depend on the people on the other side of those expectations, right? So seeing eye to eye and making sure that we're all on the same page is paramount, just as a precursor, as a foundation to having those successful relationships.
Yeah, I love that, man. I do ads and marketing and stuff, and you do the same thing. And so too does Joe Schmo, who bought a course and lives in their stepmom's basement. How do like, we're heavy in the roofing industry, home improvement, home services. How does someone figure out who to use and what to look out for?
Well, they would go to the Ascend Digital Agency YouTube channel, and then they would watch the video that's 18 questions to ask when hiring a marketing agency. It's challenging, right? Because folks in the home service industry, we take what we know for granted because we've spent, a decade here, or whatever that time is, right? And I think it's kind of similar to the way that, when you're doing sales for a roofing or home improvement company, you got to take a step back and understand that the person that you're trying to sell your product to doesn't understand roofing or home improvement the way that you do. So you got to explain it as if they're a fifth grader, right? And it's hard sometimes to take a step back outside of that expertise that you have, so that you can make sure that you're providing the value in a way that's digestible and compelling to somebody who doesn't know as much as you. Yeah, I digress. To answer your question, I think there's a lot of different things that folks can ask a potential marketing agency to understand if they're a good fit. We're usually like the second, maybe third marketing agency that people use, and typically like the progression is they try to do it themselves, or they go with a very cheap company. And then they try something that's, maybe a little more aggressive as far as price and a little bit of heavy investment. And when those things don't work out, then they say, okay, well, fuck it. I'm ready to go to the moon. I don't care what it costs. We got to let's figure out a plan that makes sense. Some
Yeah,
of the questions would be, am I going to own my website? You want to know,
great
you
question.
don't want to find out 3 years into a relationship when you go to leave and you guys are breaking up that, by the way, I own your house. It's like, what? I don't even get half? No, you don't get nothing. It is. And, in your domain too, right? Like if you have a marketing agency that you're considering doing business with, and they're like, oh, we'll take care of getting your domain for you, don't fucking do it. Go to Google and, type in domains. You go to GoDaddy, you can do it through Google. You can buy domains like, whatever, $13, because everything that you're going to do as far as like web development and SEO is going to roll up to that domain and having that authority. So that's really important.
Yeah,
And I say that to say, I don't think it's terrible for people. Like if you need to lease a website. So let's say your company, you just started your day one, and you want to pay a company a couple $100 to develop you a website, and they're going to lease it to you. That's fine. But it comes back to that expectation. And oftentimes what you see is that there's not that expectation. So then the contractor grows, puts a bunch of money in this website, and then they're held hostage a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later.
yeah,
That's super important. Also, like, in the same vein, your ad account, like if you're investing a ton of money into optimizing your Google ad campaigns, are you going to own it, or is it ran through an agency account? there's pros and cons to each, I suppose. But if you're investing in a long-term strategy and you're paying a company to consistently modify and optimize your ad account for the best performance, it's a bonus if you get to keep that. If you guys ever decide that we're done here, we've gotten to the point where we don't need you anymore.
Yeah.
It'd be great to be able to hold that data for sure.
I just want to re-emphasize that because I reckon I'd see it, I don't know, probably half a dozen times a week. We're not huge in website and SEO, but we do love helping roofers and contractors. So it's something I always check, and I know you'd be big on it. I know you'd see it quite a lot. Got to be cautious and make sure where the ownership of the asset is. In a perfect world, you want to own that asset. Man, it gets ugly when you don't, especially when you want to make a change. It can be really horrible.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And what I find most frustrating is like on the SEO side, for those watching, if you don't know what SEO is, it's search engine optimization. So it's things that you're going to do on your website, around your website, on the internet to convince Google or whatever search engine you're discussing that you're most relevant for these key phrases. The problem is that most contractors, they don't have an understanding of what SEO is, and you have all these nefarious actors in the marketing space. So they're getting quotes from, I can do SEO for $200 a month. I can guarantee first page rankings for $99 within 3 months. It's going to cost you $10,000 a month, and they have no idea, no context to help understand, what is SEO and like what should it cost?
Yeah.
And it's complex. I almost want to say convoluted. There's such a negative connotation to that word, but there's a lot going on and it's so dynamic where like 30 years ago, it's okay, if I want to get the most opportunities out of the phone book, I'll just buy the biggest ad that I can. I'll buy a spot on the cover and send that print out. And I know that the phone's going to ring more than the guy that's 3 positions behind me. And the dynamic nature of internet marketing and SEO in particular make it very hard to conceptualize and to understand what exactly is going on and what it should cost. So we also got videos on that. So check out the Ascend Digital Agency YouTube channel.
Well, I think we'll be able to drop some links and add it into the episode notes and stuff like that because I have seen some of that stuff. I think it's awesome content. And the more people that can get their hands on it, watch it, take it in, actually fucking listen, the better, for sure.
Yeah, we try what I aim to do when I started making my content is like our clients are typically 2 to 3 million and up, right? Just based on our price point and the aggressive nature of what we do when it comes to marketing. We're very working with growth oriented people like yourself, right? And it doesn't make sense, if you break down what percentage of your revenue you're investing into marketing, our appetite to help people grow sometimes doesn't match up with where they're at, right, in their business. And that's fine. But what I want to do is I want to lead with value. Right. So whether it's somebody that does fit in our target market, or maybe it's somebody who's smaller right now and they don't necessarily fit in our target market, I want to give them as much value as possible and lay all the cards out on the table so that they can make a good decision, whether it's us or somebody else. Right. I don't want the person that's watching my content 3 years from now to be like, yeah, I work with this company. I work with this company and I got screwed. I got hosed. This is what happened. Right. That really sucks. So, I try to create all our content for the most part outside of the podcast is based on, okay, what questions have I been asked? What scenarios have I been exposed to that have had a negative impact on the folks that we service? And how can we help them hedge against that in the future?
Yeah, I love that.
So,
makes sense.
Yeah.
What are some of those questions that you're sort of getting, and is there any common ones?
Yeah, like the website thing is big.
Yeah.
And even with like local services where like the ad agency will set up their Google guarantee or their Google local services through like an MCC account, and it's like, I'm not sure if I own it. Do I own it? How do I make sure that they're not going to take it if I leave that type of stuff? I would say the website one, that's the most frequent offense that we see where people aren't on the same page and they don't have the understanding that, hey, I actually don't own this asset. And it's troublesome. And sometimes there's conversations that you can have with the agency to try to influence them to just, kind of do the right thing. Just because it says in your agreement with them, you don't own this doesn't necessarily mean they're going to exercise their right to hold your domain or your website, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's definitely a big red flag, and one of the best questions any roofer or home improvement company or anyone in business needs to ask. Super, super important. Just saw a guy who he got his marketer. I think he does some sort of installation, like either HVAC or garage or something like that. And he did the right thing. He trusted a marketer. He went all in. It was insanely expensive. So in terms of that, it wasn't the right thing. But he trusted someone. He thought this person could get them great results. This person set everything up technically into the contractor's name, but he also had admin access. And when the contractor needed to change the plan and renegotiate, this guy just deactivated the email and he's lost his GMBs. Like Google Local Service, Google Guarantee, absolute nightmare. He's had to put people off. It's just horrid. And he doesn't own his website. He's going to have to go through legal. So can't emphasize this point enough. Yeah, it's horrible when it goes bad.
That's a fact, and the stakes are really high. It hurts my heart to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've seen it far too often, and to varying degrees as far as how much of a detriment it's been to the person on the wrong side of it. We have a different approach when it comes to like sales. Yeah. So for instance, if somebody is considering doing business with us, like we don't have a sales team. We have Mike Stearns. And I vet the clients, and I tell folks like, just, you should be very particular about who you let handle everything as far as growing your business. And, we exercise the same caution, right? Simply because we have a brand and a reputation to protect. And like I said, as nice as it is to be inundated with opportunities, like not everybody is where they fit into our target market at this time. And that's okay, because we want to help those even if they're not. So like we have our first step to coming on board is like a paid consult. So we spend like 2 or 3 hours together, the prospect and myself, where we go over all these things, right? So one of the big things that we do is like how to hold a marketing company accountable, trying to understand like key performance indicators, because SEO, if you're in the month 3 of the SEO campaign, you're not going to get leads. You're not going to get a ton more traffic, but there are things that you can look to see, like, is there anything being done? Is there content being created? Are there new pages being added to the website? Are you getting impressions in Google Search Console for new keywords based on things, the activities, the link building activities that you're doing?
Yeah.
And those are the precursor to things like better position on Google, more traffic, and then more leads as a result of that. But it's a tiered thing. And the problem is that SEO takes time. And everyone's going to tell you SEO takes time. And that's true. However, folks that are, malevolent, they lean on that as an opportunity to make sure that they just keep billing you and they keep stringing you along, even if they're not necessarily doing the right things that like a quality marketing agency would do to get you that long-term organic growth. So, and then if they decide to do business with us at that time, we credit it back towards whatever they're buying. So it's free.
Yeah, nice. I like that. That's super important for people to know too. Like, that's probably one of the better expectations that's now being set, is that, SEO will take some time. I would argue, and I'm a heavy ads guy. That's what I'm best known for. Come up with some really cool stuff that's done really well. But would it be fair to say that every roofing company, every home improvement company, maybe a very rare exception, should be investing in SEO? Is that fair comment?
It's not unfair. However, timing is crucial. So
yeah,
I always context is super important. And when somebody asks me how much would it cost for me to properly market my company, I'm like, I don't know. How much would my roof cost? And they're like, well, I don't know. It's like, I know, because you don't know how big the roof is, how many squares it is. You don't know if it's cut up or not. You don't know how many layers are on it. You don't know what I want to install on it. Do I want to install a EuroShield roof? Shout out to Leslie and team. Do you want, I want 3-tab shingle for some odd reason? Do I want standing seam? Like, there's so many layers of what needs to be discovered in order to accurately assess that situation and what it's going to cost for my new roof.
Yeah.
The same thing goes when you're making marketing decisions and advertising decisions for your company. So for instance, there's no secret that Corey Combs has done very well with us. South Shore Roofing and Exteriors out of Tampa. First year we worked together, we didn't do SEO. Do I think that SEO wasn't important to his company? No, but I think that it was much more important when his company was in the infancy stage to make sure that we hammer the shit out of opportunities to bring in immediate revenue and to keep him liquid.
Yeah.
When you're a young company, that liquidity is so super important to not becoming part of that stat of X percentage of contractors go out of business in the first 3 years. So we took a nuanced strategy to make sure that we were investing in all the things that are going to keep money coming through the door now so he can continue to grow. And then once he had more disposable income, as far as investing a higher percentage into more long-term marketing and advertising activities, that's when we went in and we did a full custom website. We did SEO and things like that.
Beautiful. Yeah, I love that. What do you recommend for people who they're not quite at that, they're past the startup stage, but they don't quite have the budget for, they're not in that 2 to 3 mil plus mark, and they know they need to do something. Like, is there any advice you'd give guys in that sort of area?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of advice. So the first thing I'll say is like it's not always something where you have to hire somebody, right? You don't, sometimes it's addition by subtraction. If you cut out an agency that you're going to go with because you've asked them the right questions, you've interviewed a few and you're not happy with the answers that you've gotten, don't settle for the one you're happiest with if you're still not overall happy with the way that it went, right? Because you could have 3 shitty options. You don't have to choose one of the 3 shitty options. And I'm not here to bash agency because there's plenty of good agencies out there. But what I find is that, we interviewed 2, 3 companies and this was the best. It was like the best of the worst though. And we didn't really feel great about it, but they were better than the other 2. And it's like, well, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Save the $10,000 a year, focus your energy on generating opportunities internally till you get to the point where you can invest in somebody that you're confident with as far as their ability to execute on behalf of your company. That would be one thing. Doing things, content is huge, right? And, so what I tell people is like, whether you're doing blog content, you're doing video content, think of the things that like your customers are asking you on sales calls. If you're doing insurance claims, think about, the things that you're telling an adjuster while you're on the roof, to get the roof off, right? Like point these things out and talk about them very specifically and go deep on these, whatever topic it is that you're talking about to express in your blog content, in your video content, why it's important, why this is important, why this mark is substantial, how we know this is hail and not somebody up here with a hammer smacking the shingles, right? Why it's important to understand, like, hey, if you found a shingle in your yard, look around or call us out for an inspection because X, Y, and Z. This is what we found in the past. Like those things are often overlooked and are incredibly valuable because now if you start taking that content and parlaying that with even just, having these videos on deck to send out to customers that have the questions, there's some semblance of authority. If somebody asks you a question, like, yeah, we get that question all the time. Here, let me send you a video, right? Anyone can say they get it all the time, but when you can on site say, yeah, here, this is the answer. I know I answered it for you, Mr. Smith, but here's, I know you said you want to talk to Mrs. Smith, so here's a video and you guys can talk through any of the issues that you had. If you got any other questions, let me know. I would say that was a shitty approach because you should have never ran a one-legger, all right? But if you find yourself in a position of running a one-legger, that might help increase your credibility. You can also take that content into local social media groups. I think that there's a lot of opportunities from what I see, especially in like the guys that are dealing with direct to homeowner retail opportunities for their sales reps to do more activities as opposed to expecting the company to provide them more. For those types of companies, it's a great opportunity, and I can't overstate that. Because I work with, I would say, majority of contractors that are retail and they're not doing storm work. And it's a common theme. I love these guys, but we got to make sure that we're setting the expectations that if we're going to give our teams allowance, that they're going to do their chores, right? And the chores are getting out there, canvassing around the jobs that we're doing, getting the social media groups, building relationships within the market of realtors and property managers to make sure that we're bringing opportunities that otherwise wouldn't come to the company as a result of our efforts, as opposed to just saying, here, give me another Google lead, give me another one of those Facebook leads from Matt Smith.
I guess something cool to think for the roofers and home improvement guys to think about. Like a lot of them, for the most part, there'll be some content goes up in a roofing group. All the roofers are in there. It makes sense, right? So it'll be who's good at SEO, who's good at ads, and yourself. You get shouted out. I get shouted out. There's a few other people, and then that creates that initial like, oh, okay, I might give these guys a call. If you took that approach and attacked local community groups and you had good content, you started having a good presence, and you had people that were happy with your services in there that could recommend you. Imagine how powerful that could be. That's something free that everyone could do.
It's with my clients, like we talk about this all the time. I got a younger sales rep for a company, they do about 5-6 million, but I mean, he gets 20 and 30 opportunities a month. And they're of lower quality. And this is where people are, I got a bunch of tire kickers. It's like the fucking leads are free. Okay. And you're not doing much, right? So what I tell people, I coined the term the social snowball effect as far as what I've done, as far as getting in the roofing communities, setting the expectations with my clients that, hey, like if we kill it for you, are you going to be willing to promote us? Yeah. All right. And your credit card will clear, right? Okay. Yeah. Oh, fantastic. Well, we're going to fucking kill it for you. And the experience is going to match. So as long as we're both on the same page, we're good, right? Yeah. Fantastic. Then we start killing it for them. Then they go out of their way when people are like, hey, I need an SEO company. You could do the same thing with your local community groups. And there's no limits to like how methodical you could be about it. So I tell folks like, hey, I don't pay anybody. I don't do like affiliate links at this point. I've never like done affiliate links or paid anyone on my behalf to go be a brand ambassador, but people do it because we do a really good job. So if you're working with a homeowner, you're doing a quality control walkthrough, whether it's your project manager, salesperson, owner, operator, get them excited about the roof you just put on, right? All right, so, we threw the catch-all, hung that, and, we made sure that we didn't fuck up your rose bush seats. Perfect. Or maybe we fucked it up. We're gonna make it right for you. We're very sorry. Do you see why we went with the onyx shingle? Because it makes your trim pop and it really, ties in the facade of your home. You get them excited. And then, ask them for a small favor. Would you do me a small favor? Bang. You should have your review link right there on your phone. All right, fantastic. Our reputation means everything to us. If I send you this link, can you share your experience? I'm going to go walk around the house and make sure that we've knocked everything else out while you do that. Now, go do that and show me a situation where somebody doesn't give you the review. Okay. So now you take it a step further and it's like, hey, let me ask you something. If you had to recommend a roofer to one of your family members, like who would you recommend? I would hope they would say you. And, if you've had nothing but issues with this job, like use discretion, maybe you don't go that route and entice them to leave you a negative review or have them go promote you on Facebook for negative reasons. But assuming you're doing good work and you've done a good job for this customer, ask them who they'd recommend. They're going to say you. Okay, fantastic. Hey, I don't want to put you out, but if you happen to see in passing somebody mentioning, roofing, exteriors, renovation, whatever the case may be in these roofing groups or in these local community groups, would you mind sharing your experience? What Facebook groups are you talking about? Here, I'm going to send you an invite. I've got 3 that are right here in your community, and they're actually a great resource, not only for you to mention us, but for things that you need. It's just a network of people in your local community that you can lean on and ask questions to. So, and that's scalable, right? Because if even 10% of people, like let's say you have 100 customers that you worked with last year, even if 5% of them, so you got 5 people that go out there, and whenever they see something, they start slapping your name in the comments, you're going to get opportunities. And you don't have to keep reinvesting necessarily the same way you would with paid leads in order to do that, but you have to be methodical and there has to be a systematic approach to consistently do that every single time. And that's where you get paid, baby. So we took the scenic route to, hey, if, they're doing, $750,000, $1 million, and they're not quite ready to invest with us, like these are the type of conversations that I have with people when I do like consulting to say like, it's not the end of the world. There's plenty of opportunity for you to grow outside of just doing what we do.
I love that. That's something that everyone should be doing, even if they're, at any size, because you could allocate it to a team. It's a untapped resource for the most part, from what I've seen.
I couldn't agree more.
With this might be a hard question to answer, but with SEO, because there's going to be a lot of variables, but with your SEO specifically, and that's one of the key services that you offer, SEO and Google Ads, is that right? Or
yeah, custom web design, SEO, Google Ads,
and website. Yeah, gotcha. Awesome. What is the expectation that you set with how long it's going to take to start seeing things happen?
Yeah, when folks ask me that, I tell them I have no fucking idea.
Yeah.
Bullshit, because with most things in life, it's, we can calculate, we can turn it into a math equation, we can have a recipe, right? And we know that if we put this much flour and this much sugar, this much vanilla extract, like our cookies are going to be bussin'. They're going to slap, as the kids would say. But like SEO is not that, right? There's so many different things that determine who's going to be ranked where within a market, where we can do the same thing for 10 different people in 10 different markets, and the outcomes are going to widely vary, right? So I had a client early on that, Roof Tiger, Ben Morrow over in Illinois. Love that guy. Love his company. Does an amazing job branding. If you guys have questions on branding, go look at Roof Tiger and what they do. I mean, down to the fucking sneakers. They wear Nike Pressos that are tiger stripe. It's amazing.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Love it.
So with that being said, like his SEO campaign, he started ranking within like 3 to 4 months and getting tons of opportunities. Like fantastic. High five. Corey with South Shore. I mean, it was like 16 to 18 months until he got anything meaningful as far as like traffic and, starting to get lead flow out of his campaign. So, what I tell folks is like, we pull back the curtain when we're going through that paid consult, we pull back the curtain and we show you everything and it's a lot. And, quite honestly, they probably don't give a fuck. when I'm
Yeah.
showing it to them, but I want people to show like the consistent activity of, it's not just, hey, I'm going to send you, some bullshit analytics report that doesn't mean anything. Like, these are the things we're doing on a consistent basis. And there's like 15 different spreadsheets that we use to track it. What I can tell you is that, like, based on, we'll give our best assessment as far as where you're at now and what makes the most sense from an SEO perspective, because we have a few different packages that most people would fit into. But the only promise I make is that I'll do everything I can that we do for all of our other customers that have been successful. I show you what their results have been. And, we're going to implement and execute with the same tenacity like a fucking honey badger, okay?
Oh,
Honey badger energy. Let's get it.
can't kill the honey badger. It never dies. I love that. They're tough, man.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've never had an encounter with one, but I mean, I've seen things.
I've seen things, yeah.
I've seen things.
That's cool. It's interesting the way I've started phrasing it, like SEOs. The wife you marry, steady, consistent. Takes a while, builds up the relationship. And Facebook ads, that's the one you date in college, or the one on the side.
Yeah.
It's fast, it's fun, it's furious. It'll be a hell of a ride. It'll end at some point, but you're gonna love it or hate it, but you'll have some memories.
Yeah, that's fucking hilarious. I think I'll start adopting that analogy.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's funny because I'd say we've got at least half a dozen or a dozen of the same clients. We do one piece. You're dating them. No, you're married. We're the side piece.
With a side piece. Love it. Let me ask you a question. How do you deal with, like, I'm sure one of the questions you get is like, I got a bunch of leads, but none of them closed, right? Because I think inherently Facebook, it's a great opportunity, but I think if I've gotten feedback in Facebook in general, that's the thing, is it's lower intent. But yeah, also the cost per lead is much lower. So how often do you get that question or that feedback, and like, what is the real? Tell me the real, because I don't do Facebook ads.
One of the first things I'll say, so I don't get the question that often because I'm literally presenting it as the information. Like, people have gone onto Facebook. I literally go onto Facebook. I have to be logged in as my wife because I'm banned for saying naughty things. But anyway, but I'll go onto Facebook. I'll show an ad in their market of what's working right now. But I'll say, this person, we've gone onto Facebook. We're looking at dog videos, memes, reels, sharing things about family and friends, and the ad interrupts what they're doing. So the intent on Facebook is lower, and that's why we need more of these leads, and it takes time to build up the quality. After some time, when we can start retargeting and start showing people happy customers over and over and over and over again, that's when the quality or the intent of the lead will increase. But initially, it really is, it's a mixed bag that comes in. But in saying that, we have a follow-up system that's super dialed in, that hits the leads immediately. It helps book the appointment and stuff like that. So you've got to know every little piece of the puzzle. If you just run Facebook ads, the average contact rate's like 30%, whereas our system, it does about 70 to 75%. But that is the expectation that needs to be set with Facebook advertising. You should get cheaper leads. You need a lot more of them,
right?
And not all of them are going to be closable. Yeah.
Call the damn leads.
Call the damn leads. There you go.
Call the damn leads.
Yeah. I've even got it on the shirt.
I fucking love it. Yeah, it's call the leads and pick up the phone. And if you pick up the phone, I made like a parody video on YouTube, but like, what you don't do is act like you're doing somebody a fucking favor by them giving you an opportunity to serve them and for them to be a patron of your business, right? So answer the phone, sound like you want to talk to the person. Don't sound like you just woke up off a 3-day bender. Even if you did, like, fake it till you make it, right? But honestly, like, all jokes aside, you have, like, when you're especially in roofing, you've got such a small window, right? To talk to these folks, whether it's a Facebook lead, whether it's a Google lead, whether it's a referral, there will be varying degrees of that. Like, if somebody's calling for emergency service, you've got a much smaller window. But even if somebody's just calling for a replacement, like, I'll tell you what people aren't excited about. They're not excited to say, okay, Mrs. Stearns, we're going to figure out tonight what roofer we're going to choose for our new roof that we got to spend a bunch of fucking money on that we don't have, right? So
yeah,
my guess and what I would see is, and I've seen it and listened to call recordings, like, all right, we've called a couple other companies, we're just looking for one last estimate. So if they have a predetermined number of people, whether it's 1, 3, 5 that they're going to call, they're not going back and consistently following up and researching and doing another search and then doing another search and calling people, 4 days straight. They're likely going to take that cluster of people that they find, whether it's through branding or ads on Facebook, whether it's on Google Local Services, Google Ads, wherever they find you, they're likely going to go through and make their decision of who they're going to call, and then they're going to fucking call you. And if you don't answer and they talk to 2 or 3 other people, their needs are met in their mind. They've got a commitment as far as people to come out and give them an estimate. Even if you call back an hour later, there's a good chance you're not getting that opportunity. So if you get and what I recommend to people is like use an answering service if it's an inbound lead, or a system like yours where if it's, something where you guys are doing the outreach and it's automated and it starts the conversation. Now when you can get them on the schedule ASAP, even if you got to change, right? Go back and your salesperson has to say, we apologize. We're double booked for that. Is there another time? What's better for you morning?
Yeah.
I'd rather have that fire to put out than no fire. I don't want to fucking freeze.
Yeah.
Give me the fire. Give me all the smoke, Matt Smith.
Exactly. Or be happy that your competitors are gonna steal that fire and be doing rain dances all over you.
Yeah, and then you can go over their campfire and beg them for a little bit of warmth, and maybe they'll be kind enough to say, "Yeah, we'll be compassionate today. You and your family can sit around our fire." It all depends on what you want in life.
Yeah, exactly. Rufus, I love him.
What do you see as far as the biggest challenge, for younger roofing companies? Let's say 2 million under. What do you see as far as the biggest challenges or impediments to growth that they have?
That's a great question. I took on a dude who's he was phenomenal at sales, but he had enough of the roofing company. Like a lot of reps, at times the wrong owner can screw them down and not pay him and things like that. So they go and do their own thing. Makes sense. And he engaged us to do his ads, and it was a home run, and he did a ton of business really, really quick. Did $1 million in 3 or 4 months or something. And we're like, yeah, how good's this? We're killing it. Wasn't really what I expected. I thought we'd do, I don't know, maybe quarter of that or something. Like I was very confident in the results of that market. It was Orlando, it was a couple of years ago. But what I noticed was that he had to build a team. He had to increase insurance. There were all these other things that came. There were cash flow. There was all these new problems, good problems, but problems that hadn't really been thought or planned or systematized, which put him in a spot where he was trying to replace himself. And it was really, really hard because of that quick growth. So I sort of see that as being the biggest problem. Like, number one, you're always going to be the bottleneck. And then I guess if you're not clear on what you really want to get out of your business, whether it's roofing or any business really, and you don't have a good plan in place and you're just trying to wing it, you're going to get clipped pretty quick.
That's a really good insight. I couldn't agree more. I find that a lot of the things that I see folks struggle with, it's funny because it's both ends of the spectrum. Either they hold on to the vine for too long and they don't understand the importance of delegating, and they try to do everything themselves. And I get it. I'm a fucking control freak. Okay. So you guys aren't alone. But it is like, to your point of being the bottleneck, right? It only perpetuates that narrative and hamstrings your ability to grow the company. If you don't I like to do an exercise with people and I say, okay, so how many hours a day do you spend on your business? Now let's talk through those activities. Now, of those activities and of those hours, how many of those hours are spent doing something that you pay somebody else to do? Okay. What would you say you value your time at? Now you make it a math equation, right? So if I spend 4 hours a day doing this and my time's worth $250 an hour, okay, that's $1,000 a day that you're spending. You're spending $20,000 a month, $240K a year approximately. You could hire somebody for $47,000, give them a full benefits package, and they'd be really happy to work for you, and they could do all these things and more, right? Conversely, you've got, other contractors that might jump the gun as far as offloading things off their plate. So they get rid of that tenacity, that moxie, that hustle, that year one hustle too early. And now you eat into your margin, which is going to have an adverse effect, depending on the size of the company, where you're at, growth trajectory. It could be damaging if you start offloading those responsibilities too quickly. So I think staying in the moment on the day to day, like you said, having goals. I mean, it's crucial. And then, checking in on those goals with yourself, right? Or with a partner, or, setting goals for your people that are members of your team and making sure that you follow up on those goals is critical. Not only to understand that it's like a barometer of where your company's at, but also like to create a culture where people know that you actually give a fuck. Because I can ask you, Matt, what are your goals for the next 12 months? And it's like, well, these are my goals. And we have a half-hour long conversation. Then you never talk about it again. It's like, he doesn't fucking care. He's just posturing. But if you check in once a month and say, I know that you said, Mike, that you wanted to buy a house. How much positive direction, how much have we moved in a positive direction on that? Or you said you want to do X, Y, and Z. You wanted to get a membership to the gym. Have you gone through that yet? What can we do to help? So this is, a bit on a tangent from where we started, but I think those things are really important when you're building the culture of a company, because any a lot of people have an issue with like churn, right? Employee turnover. And the best way to do that is to create a culture where people don't want to leave, especially, for an extra dollar or two an hour. People really care about who they work for and they'll fucking rally around their leader. That extra dollar or two an hour is not going to fucking matter. It really won't.
I think it's statistically 80% of people are not moved and motivated by money. It's involvement, being a part of something, having a purpose. And if you know personality traits, it actually makes sense. So it's quite interesting, hey?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I had my first exposure to that when I was like 19. I started making good money. I don't know. It landed me in a drug addiction and a world of unhappiness. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
same.
Yeah, so I quickly realized I was like, okay, so there's more to life than just money, and you
Yeah,
always you envision to yourself, and I mean, people have a tendency to take things for granted. I'm no different, right? So in the moment, it's like, yeah, if I get this next goal, if I get to this next goal, if I reach this next threshold, I'm gonna be happy. I always got to rein myself in and really focus on things that I'm grateful for, because I don't feel that I'm naturally that person where I wake up just full of gratitude and it's like do 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 do. And it's a gift and a curse, right? That's like the shit that motivates me. That's the shit that makes me like hyper productive. But at the same time, it's like if you're not careful and you don't check in with yourself and be very intentional about things that matter to you and how blessed you are for what you have, it can be a slippery slope.
fun fact. Guy that actually got me into the roofing space. His name's Tim Nussbeck. Crazy, awesome, funny dude. He's semi-retired from the doing so well with crypto. Anyway, I used to do commercial cleaning, building and renovation. That's where I connected with him like 5 years ago. He's like, "Hey man, come run some ads for me." I was like all right. And anyway, his family built one of the most successful roofing companies. They've trained a lot of industry leaders, very well known. And it was interesting that he shared that in terms of like stress versus money versus impact and living the quality of life that he wanted to. He said the best money he ever saw and they ever made was in that 8 to 12 mil or 12 to $15 million mark. Which brings me to my point, like getting really clear on what you actually want out of business. It might not be being the biggest growth and massive team. It might be that you want to have the absolute best lifestyle and enjoy your family and have great impact and do a great job, or finding that balance. Like it has to be right for you. And that's one of the coolest things I've ever learned from these crazy roofers.
Yeah, that's a great point. There's no doubt about it, because I mean, Biggie said it best: more money, more problems. Invariably what's gonna happen, and I would say there's that tipping point too. Like I find people that are like between 5 and 8 million are typically a little less stressed than people that are doing 15, right? There's more variables in the equation. And when you have more variables, there's more things that can go wrong. And when you have things that go wrong, guess what? Somebody has to fucking deal with it. And,
Yeah.
eventually some of that shit's going to roll up to you, no matter how well you insulate yourself from like a hierarchy or an organizational chart, right? Like you're going to have to answer to some of those things. And probably the issues that are going to get to you are going to be more severe because you have insulated yourself and you have layers of people in place to deal with these things. So yeah, it's interesting that you say that. And I think it's crucial. And I think it's also fluid, right? Like you may set out in theory and say, you know what, we did 3 mil last year. I want to triple this year. I want to do 9 million. And then you get there and you're like, dude, the road to 9 million was fucking awful. Like, let's just scale
Yeah.
back down to 6 and I'm fine with that. Or you might say you might be a sick fucking like, I want to do 20 next year, right? Let's let's double down. And it's fine because
Let's do it.
I have the same sickness. But yeah, I think that's a really good point. So Tim Nussbeck, shout out to you for shedding such significant insight with Matt and then him sharing it with the audience this morning. We
Yeah.
appreciate
What about
it.
my accent for him though? He'll love that.
You're funny.
Mike, where can people find you? Like, what's the best way to connect with you?
Slide in the DMs. Michael Stearns, Stearns on Facebook, at MJ Stern on Instagram, at Takeoff with a Send on Instagram. We have Tic Tacs and things. Is that what the kids are doing? The Tic Tacs dances? YouTube, like we put out a ton of content on YouTube at Ascend Digital Agency, I think. Just Google Ascend Digital Agency and YouTube. Because we put out like shorts for our content, the podcast, things like that. So I would say that would be the best way. or just go to a roofing community group online. Just be like, who should I hire for SEO? My name might pop up.
Yeah. Yeah. Just search SEO or marketers or something, and they'll start to see you.
No, just make sure you post it. I don't want you to use the search feature. I want to make sure that we get as many mentions as possible. So yeah, don't go about it efficiently for my selfish benefit.
Think of the future, people. Jeez.
Yeah, exactly. This is important to me, and I'm a nice guy. You should want to help me. I promise. Yeah, dude, this was amazing. I really appreciate you giving me an opportunity to sit here and chop it up with you, even if it was at 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever time it is on last time.
I did get that wrong. I apologize.
Yeah. Yeah, so fun fact, we agreed on, 5:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I get an invite for like 3:45 Eastern Standard. I'm like, hey, Poppy, that's a little early for me. All right, even for somebody in my state of mind, which, to his credit, Matt, he owned it. He took accountability and he fixed it, right? Solutions, not excuses. So he did the damn thing. And for that, I'm eternally grateful.
Yeah, I did stuff that up. My bad. Any final words?
Final words? Yeah. You're gonna come on my show, the Mission Control Podcast. That's one of my final words. If y'all ever have any questions, and here's the thing, I'm sure folks listening to this, Matt, you're an authority to them, and as you should be. If there's any questions that you guys have of things that maybe, I'm happy to help, whatever it is, right? No obligation, just shoot a DM. I'll be happy to shed some insights if I can, and let's make the world a better place one day at a time together. And we can all join around that campfire and sing Kumbayas. It's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic.
We can do that.
Yeah.
Actually do a little bit of a rain dance and hope for some hail. Not too bad. And some winds just to move things around. I don't want people to get hurt, but I want people to be busy and make some money and help some people too. So I do those dances for everyone while we're singing that song.
Yeah. So what we'll have to do is we'll have to broadcast that on the Mission Control Podcast when you come on. I'm very intrigued to see this rain dance. I too may want a rain dance. I've never done it, but a little hail never hurt nobody. So just enough to get some claims approved. Like Matt said, no one get hurt, but some damage, a little damage.
Love that.
It'll be okay.
Mike, thank you very much for sharing some time today, my good man. You absolutely killed it. You have tremendous hair, and I know a thing about hair too. And that's it. We're going to wrap it up. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.